Ladies and gentlemen, now with us is Jamie Lee, the host of Wonders with Jeju, which airs 10 p.m. to midnight, 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, which is a huge, daunting task. And she is here with us to talk to us about her show and our life on Jeju. Thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, wow. Thank you for having me. This is exciting.
Yeah, Jamie, so nice of you. You're so busy. It's nice of you to take some time to meet with us. We appreciate it.
No, I'm kind of honored that I got a contact from you guys. So yeah, thanks for having me on the show. It's great to be here.
So what have you been, you said you've been busy with so much stuff. On top of Wonders with Jeju, what else do you do?
Well, I'm also anchoring the English news for KCTV.
Mm-hmm. Oh, good for you. Okay.
And also I am a student studying interpretation and translation at Jeju National University. Good Lord. And I started that. Yeah, I did that. I started 2 years ago. So yeah, wow. I didn't have any plans to be on like doing any broadcasting when I first started studying. And it's quite a busy.
Now you're doing a lot of it.
Yeah. It keeps me busy.
Yeah, I guess so.
There. How did you get into broadcasting? Because that's really what your background is. You've got a lot of credits to your name now.
I know, it's really interesting, but I have to say that it actually was not my background, because I've been more in the corporate world before I joined the broadcasting world.
So an office job, hey?
An office job, totally. Okay. Yeah. But how I began was quite interesting, because I was moving around a bit. So I lived in Canada for about 3 years when I came back. Or actually, I grew up in Korea, and then I went to Canada for 3 years. This is just talking about the rest of the half of my life. You're going to have to follow me here. It's a little confusing. But when I came back to Korea, I was looking for something to do in the beginning. So I was doing a little bit of YouTubing and teaching English.
Oh, okay.
That was like just in between my careers of working at corporate. So this was when I landed back in back in Korea. And when I did that, I had some friends who were reporters on Arirang radio, and I followed what they were doing. And I saw a comment on a Facebook page of Catch the Wave, who were saying to invite anybody who had any interesting things to talk about to be a guest on the show or call in through a phone call. So I applied for it. I wanted to talk about this wonderful app that I had found about some kind of voice recording app. And they said, okay, let's have a call, but you can't talk about the app. So I was like, wait a minute. I'm calling to talk about this app. What do you want me to talk about? They said, we're going to ask questions about you. Just answer the questions. And I started answering them. And then I got a phone call after the call from the producer saying, hey, do you want to be a reporter? And I was like, yeah, that'd be exciting.
Wow. That's so random.
No, it's crazy, isn't it?
And was that immediately with Wonders of Jeju, or the reporting? Was that a different segment?
Yeah, that was a different corner. That was Catch the Wave. And
that was Catch the Wave. Okay.
Yeah, that was Catch the Wave. And that was in Seoul. So I did that for a couple of months. And then just after that, I moved to Jeju Island just because I wanted to. And I quit my work. I moved over, and I was looking around, and I had seen that there was the Wonders of Jeju was here. Arirang Radio had a program here, and I looked it up, and I asked my former host to introduce me to the host of Wonders of Jeju. And so I got that gig to be a reporter there. And I did that for 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that was when I first came to Jeju.
Right. Oh, that's serendipitous.
So you've been a host now for 2 years?
Oh, no. That was when I was doing the reporting. I was a reporter before.
Years. Gotcha.
Yeah.
I just started being the host just about 10 months ago.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I've been watching you on Instagram. I've been watching your Wonders of Jeju career bloom. It's pretty cool, actually, though. You're posting.
Yeah, it's kind of, I'm still getting used to the fact that I'm a host for a radio show. It's quite daunting.
What's it like to be a host of a national show, but on the wee island of Jeju?
Well, wow. I mean, I'm really the thing that I love the most about being the host is that, like being in broadcasting and being in media itself has this power of voice, right? You have that you're in that position where people are listening to you. But with Wonders of Jeju, it's so much better than being in the news because I'm able to promote inspiration and hope and good news. It's not always about the dramatic news.
Yes, I totally understand. It's not like always headline news. Exactly. It's anything you can steer it. Yeah.
So
Jamie, do you still have I think before we started recording, the three of us mentioned we've all had a little bit of experience with Wonders of Jeju. When I had guest hosted for a little while, there was a lot of international listeners. Are you are there still a lot of people from Indonesia signing on and listening to you? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I remember there was
It's really exciting because
that was really cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Right now we still have like from Romania, we have Indonesia, like all over the place. And it's amazing. So I love to ask the question, like, where are you listening in from? And then we'll get a new location connected. And it's like, wow, people are really connecting from all over the world.
Yeah.
It is.
And I found the international listeners were the most involved. I don't know if it's still the same way, but like, when you were asking questions and they would send in emails or send in chat messages, I found the international listeners were the ones more involved in the host and asking questions and stuff. I thought that was really cool. Is it the same way still, do you think?
It's the same, but at the same time, we also have listeners in from Jeju.
Okay.
Which is surprising to me sometimes. I mean, of course, we have listeners from Jeju, but then we have Korean listeners from Jeju who are listening to learn, who are practicing their English.
I always tell my students to sign on, like, listen to this station. This is the way you're going to learn your English. Yeah,
exactly. And they can relate to what we're talking about.
Can you describe the show?
That's a good idea for our listeners.
Yeah. Okay, for our listeners. Well, Wonders of Jeju, of course, is the only program of Arirang Radio which promotes K-pop and Korean music and Korean performers. But the Wonders of Jeju focuses mainly on Jeju Island and the beauty of the island and all its culture and everything that comes with the island. And the reason for that is really interesting. It's that the station is in Jeju. So Arirang radio station is situated in Jeju Island, not in the mainland. So it's actually being broadcasted from Jeju. And so they felt the need to have a program dedicated to Jeju. Right. So actually all of the other programs are like being sent off from the branch office, which is Seoul. So people think that the headquarters, I guess we would have to say that the headquarters are in Seoul and we only have one of the stations in Jeju, but it was born because of Jeju Island.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
And that's a nice studio. That's right in City Hall, right? Aren't you in the big,
that's right.
the big building?
Maru.
Yeah.
That's
right. Building. Yeah.
I used to be
a nice office over there.
Yeah. I used to be in a couple floors below it when we were
at the
Jeju Weekly.
The Jeju Weekly. So I was always constantly going up and down and talking to reporters. And I had a weekly show browsing through the Jeju Weekly. Every Friday night.
I didn't know that, Daryl. Oh, that's cool.
Every Friday night I would pop in there to talk about.
It's an interesting area too.
Yeah, that building especially, I just feel like it was such a hub. And that building, Jamie, do they still have that really cool floor for gosh, my brain just turned off, the traveling workers?
Actually, I think it's different now. They have
it is. Okay.
Yeah, they have office space, a shared office cafe on the first floor. I think it's new though.
Okay, because
you can come in and just
you could work, right? Okay.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, they used to have back in the older days, I think probably before you moved to Jeju, it used to be a again, my brain is completely just shot up, but Daryl, help me out.
It's a hub. It was a hub.
It was a hub for
part of like the
like an incubator.
They were trying to promote businesses such as like IT and communications there. So that's one of the reasons why Arirang is in there. There's also like you could rent as like a small entrepreneur. You would rent like a small like a desk in an office. Yes. You could have like a location there.
And then there was a big open space for anyone to come in free. They really wanted to have people come. That building is just so special. I've always been a fan of that building.
Yeah.
So
that's right.
What are some of the topics or some of the more interesting guests or things that you've discussed on your show? Wonders of Jeju.
Oh, on the Wonders of Jeju. Well, we have a program that we have on every Thursday, which is a corner called Humans of Jeju.
Ooh,
and
cool.
we just introduced normal people
Okay.
Just regular people. And it's so interesting because we get to learn about the different types of people that have moved to Jeju Island and who have settled here, and they found their thing. So, they've come here at first for different reasons, but then they've been able to find their spark here on the island.
Cool.
And that is the program that I really love to share. And I just get a kick out of finding out about these people's lives.
Who's one of the more memorable people that you've met or interviewed?
Well, before you go into that, Jamie, just real quick for the listeners, what day is that on? Because that sounds really interesting.
It's on Thursdays. Okay. It's called Humans of Jeju. And we also, that's the only corner that we post an AOD up. So you can actually go and find the past.
Okay,
series.
Perfect. Nice. Okay. Yeah. So who, like Daryl said, who's been like someone that really stands out to you?
Oh, wow. Well, the thing that comes up on the top of my head was somebody who was into sounds. So he goes, his that used to be his practice. So he's like a recorder specialist, and he tried to use his specialty in Jeju Island and found a way to do that by sending out healing sounds of Jeju. And he got such a good response that it's become his business, and he's making a career out of it now.
Wow. Wait, what is his name? One of my friends just told me about him.
I would have to find that out. I would have to look it up and send it to you. But
Jamie, send us to that later, because someone mentioned that to me. Like, that would be an interesting person to have on our podcast.
Sure.
Yeah.
I love things like that. There's a YouTube channel. One of my favorite YouTube channels is called Study With Me in Jeju.
Oh, I know that.
I don't know.
I actually turned that on to watch, and I'm talking to myself and saying, "Wait a minute, why am I looking through a YouTube?"
Exactly, but
on the island,
he gets thousands of and I believe it's a woman. She gets thousands of views, and it's just she sets up a camera of I don't even think you see her face, of her with a book studying with like a beautiful scenery of Jeju,
and a window.
A window.
Really? Oh wow!
A really pretty window. She finds these nice places.
That's and so. It reminds people can find anything to do. I love it.
But it reminds me of the sounds, right? And the fact that it's such a it's an sort of obscure, but there's definitely if you have a passion for it, and you can find a niche. If you can do it well, and so that's
and
very interesting to me. So,
Jamie, how would our listeners apply to, if they feel like they might be a good candidate for that show? How would our listeners apply to that?
The best thing you can do is go to our Instagram account at WOJ_Arirang and send us a DM.
Okay, we'll put that in. We'll put that in our links.
Or you can go to the message board on the arirangradio.com website. Okay. And then look for Wonders of Jeju and send a message to us directly.
Good. So for listeners, we'll definitely get those links and put them on our website. And after we release this, we'll put them out. Yeah, that's very cool.
Unless
and you don't have to speak English either, because for Humans of Jeju, we go and interview you in Korean. And then we translate it on the program, and what the interesting thing is we play the recording of the interview. So we get to hear their voices, and it just gives another touch to the whole program, I think.
Well, what do you mean by that, Jamie? So you're going to play the audio of even if it's a Korean person, you're playing the Korean, and then is someone afterwards translating in English?
Exactly.
Translating the question and the answer.
Yes, and explains.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we explain.
Now, are you the interpreter as well as the host?
Well, I do that when we have the guests actually come into the program, which would be a special edition.
Okay.
But this weekly segment, the Humans of Jeju, is done just as a recording, and they don't come to the studio. So our reporter is the one that will deliver the message. And I'll be asking the questions.
Okay. And then they're doing the translation, and then you're doing the questions.
Yes.
That is really cool. I'm going to have to tune into that. That sounds really fun. Yeah.
What are some other segments that you do? Because that's a fascinating one.
The other segments. Oh, well, Monday is like a life guide. We have a life tour who just talks about how to enhance your life while you're on Jeju. So gives us tips and tricks about, how to go to the bank and how to do things.
Very practical stuff. Yeah.
Very practical stuff, which is fun to talk about. And then on Tuesdays, we talk about culture. So events and performances and all things like culture
upcoming ones. And now, Jamie, when you do the culture, is that
actually
the full 2 hours?
That's Wednesday. Culture is Wednesday.
And is that the full 2 hours, or you'll just do like a rundown?
No, it's just the first. It's the first hour, so it'll be about 30 minutes in the first hour.
And you can listen to that and tune in and find out everything that's coming around.
Yes,
that is
Wednesday.
Really cool. That's really Wednesday night. Okay,
I put things on my bucket list as I do that program with her, with our reporter. Yeah, and then on Tuesday we have a great program about the environment, which is exciting because Jeju has so many activities going on that are related to the environment. And you know, she just comes in, our reporter comes in to remind us of ways how we can live a zero waste lifestyle.
Oh, that's cool.
And and also introduces places that do that here on the island as well, like stores that go zero waste lifestyle stores, or recycled items that are sold at their stores. And
Jamie, Jamie, our Jeju dialect teacher, she is actually the CEO and founder of Save Jeju Bada.
So actually, she was on our show.
Isn't she wonderful?
I met her. Yeah. She's
Juju,
wonderful. Yes.
And she'll tell us every once in a while about some events, like she did that recycling table that they took all the Jeju buoys from the ocean that were washed up on the shore. They recycled them all and then turned them into a collapsible box table.
Amazing.
I mean, there really is. She was the first one, if I recall correctly, she was really the first one that started this wave of, there's the box.
There you go.
She was really the one that really started this idea of a beach cleanup.
Oh yeah.
And I was so proud of her when she did it, because it's a huge task. And then I can't say for sure but I want to say she was one of the first. And then after her, you see all these other, now they have diving cleaning clubs. Now they have a youth cleaning club. I mean, it's so cool to see one person's passion.
And I have been inspired by her to pick up trash as I go along the Jeju Ole walking tours. And now they have, if you ask for a plastic bag, they actually give you one with a stamp on it that says clean Jeju Ole. And they have a separate passport just for cleaning the oles now.
No way.
So it's like spreading all over the island.
Jamie, that's really good information. Well, I've never heard of that
before. You can check out some of this stuff if you go to Jamie's YouTube, where she just put up one of our recent walking trails of walking one of the Ole trails.
Now, we'll make sure to link that for our listeners as well, your YouTube.
Okay.
So my background is hard news. So I'm not, so I'm more of the headlines that Alexis was complaining about, the negative stuff. And it was reported today.
It's all good, but it can make you sad if you keep paying too much attention to it. Yeah,
that's a lot to
keep up on.
There's so much going on with coronavirus. Right?
Oh God.
It was reported today that Jeju this year has had 20,000 tons of like marine waste on the coast.
Marine waste is a big issue.
Yeah. So, which leads me to the question that I want to talk to you about. I think your show, to me, is very valuable in that I feel for English speakers on the island, we feel very disconnected from what's happening in our society, because oftentimes we do not have access to the news, can't read it correctly. And so I was wondering, what to you are some of the more important news issues on Jeju that would be good for us non-Korean speakers?
Okay. So I guess I could give you 3 keywords for this year. It probably would be tourism, which has been mostly affected, but at the same time, it's an area where Jeju is really looking forward to expand on, not only because it's been hard hit, but also they're looking for creative ways to expand on tourism this year. And then making Jeju a carbon-free island, as we've been hearing. But I think they're trying to find ways to really action that up now this year.
Yeah, that's been a goal now for years and years and years.
Exactly. And with the COP26, the disappointments that we've had and the things that we're actually seeing, and all of these people, individual people, like your Jeju dialect teacher who is showing the things that they're doing, the young people is catching attentions of the officials. Good. And I think they're looking for ways to move forward on that. And then finally, this year we have the elections coming up. And so we also are without a Jeju governor. And so those two things, once they are, it's crazy, right?
So every time I think about that, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. So the changes that will follow with those, with the elections, I think is probably the most hot. That's probably the hot potato of the.
It really is.
Yeah,
especially if a different party, gets elected. Yeah.
Right. And in terms of tourism.
Yes.
Yeah.
So in terms of tourism, marine leisure is an interesting topic that's been up on the table these days.
Yeah, so it's really growing. And it's cool too. Yeah. Like, you know, it's really cool, awesome that you can rent like yachts now. Cause of course I want to go out on a yacht and watch the sunset. Right. Of course I want to do that. And then like the dolphin tours, of course I want to do that. Yeah. It's so cool to see Jeju offering more of that stuff that other islands around the world had already been doing. So it's nice to see. Yeah. Yeah.
And also it looks like they're paying more attention to the islets around Jeju Island.
Yes.
And they're turning them into like, you know, they've been promoting a lot of art residency programs, like on the island of Kapado, for example.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think they're finding creative ways to use art and culture to also promote these islets as a way of tourism industry, to build up the tourism industry.
How many islands do you think Jeju province consists of? Not to ask you.
Do you actually know the answer, Daryl?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Jamie,
I actually don't know the answer to that.
I was shocked
Jamie,
by it.
you guess.
There are a lot of small ones.
I'm not going to give you any hints. How many?
I'm going to say,
including Jeju, how many islands does the province of Jeju consist of?
I'm going to say 12.
12.
Oh my goodness. I was thinking the same number. Seriously.
You were thinking 12.
I was thinking.
Do you want the answer?
I think it's more than 10.
79.
Yeah, more than 10.
No. 79.
Really?
8 of them are habitable, or at least inhabited. 8 of them have like people on it, which is like Gyeonggi-do, Udo, you know, Gapado, Marado. But there's 79 islands in total to make up the province of Jeju.
Okay, Jamie, Daryl is our factoid. He's got like the
walking
data.
Dictionary?
He's crazy. He's got all these numbers up in his head. It's fascinating. Jamie, I actually have a question.
Quiz.
Yeah. You should. That's good. Jamie, I actually have a question for you. Kind of going back to what Daryl was saying, like that it's hard for English speakers to kind of keep up with the news. Well, you had mentioned at the beginning that you're doing an English portion for KCTV. What is, I have actually never heard of that before, and I've lived here 10 years. What is that on TV? Is that something people can watch? Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, KCTV is a local broadcasting media. Mm-hmm. So they have TV, and it's actually a cable company. Right. So if you have to buy their cable to watch their TV program. So it's KCTV that you have to have installed in order to have it show up on your TV monitor.
Okay.
Right? But you can also find it online by searching KCTV Jeju Broadcasting.
Okay.
And the interesting thing is that they have a Chinese news channel and they have an English news program. Mm-hmm. It used to be 20 minutes. But now it's reduced to 5 minutes, unfortunately. Okay. But this is due to the lack of manpower because of coronavirus.
Yeah.
And when I first came to Jeju Island, my first job was working at KCTV as the news producer for the English news.
Okay. And now you're the reporter.
Actually, now I'm the anchor.
The anchor. So that's a better way to say that.
Yeah.
So what if we were to tune into that on our computers, what kind of news would we expect? Is this national news? Do you focus a lot on Jeju news?
No, it's
and it's
totally
just like
100% Jeju.
Okay. So it's Jeju news and everything and anything, you just sort of give little blips.
Not everything. It's not as much as you see on the Korean news.
Okay. Because 5 minutes. Yeah,
it's only 5 minutes per day. But we just do select the news that we believe would be a little bit more of interest to the international community.
Okay.
So it does, I would say it's more around real estate.
Oh, really? Okay.
And agriculture and maybe a little bit of education, because we have the global education city here. Right. So a lot of the education news goes out, and agriculture is a big thing here. Like, you know, if you were to live in Canada, bears are big news, right? So in Jeju, we cannot leave out news about tangerines and that business as well. So agriculture is always on the news. And then policy changes are all news topics that we want to share.
They often cover Sassam stuff when it comes with the legislation and things like that.
So is it current news? Or is it... Okay, that's very good.
It's very
current.
We'll
post for our listeners. We'll also post a link to that, I think. Yeah.
Since we're running out of time here, but since you have been in both Jeju and Seoul as a reporter and anchor, what's the difference between being a anchor and broadcasting in Jeju compared to Seoul?
Ooh, well,
hard questions.
That's a difficult question. I'm like, I didn't do. Yeah, I wasn't in the hard news when I was in Seoul. It was just about the music industry, and so
right.
Yeah, it was totally just casual and just talking about trying to make it interesting and entertaining. Whereas here on Jeju Island, it's really about what people are. It really has a lot to do with the policy here, because Jeju Island is consisting of a lot of officials who work here. A lot of the businesses are run by the government fund here on the island, more than private sectors. We have a lot of public sectors here. And because of this, a lot of people are interested in policies and the changes and being updated on that. So yeah, I would have to say it's hard to compare. But when you look at the news that you see from Seoul or Arirang TV, for example, that come from Seoul, it's a lot about North Korea and our international relations and external
that would
relations.
Make sense.
Yeah, but here it's more about the industry here inside the provincial of Jeju Island.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because people don't realize so many of the corporations that like are government corporations, like through the JDC, like Samdasu, like all these projects. They're actually
Naver,
government.
Cacao.
Yeah,
right, exactly.
Well, they're not government, but they're located, right?
No, but the biggest employer is probably and the big what has the most money, because the largest industries on Jeju are in this order: agriculture and tourism, right?
Okay,
and that's not big money,
right.
But then you get the techno park, and then you get Shinhwa World, and you get
all these
big projects. That
even
are
the Global
government.
Education City is funded by the government, the Ministry of Transport and Infrastructure. So
so those things have a lot bigger sledgehammer to wield around here than compared to a local farmer sort of.
Right, that's
affecting
so true.
The thing.
Even the horse industry.
Right.
Yeah. Right? We talked about that. We talked about that a few episodes back about how that's growing. And then now we're about to get the factory, the dog food factory, Daryl, or just animal?
Yes, but it has been canceled. So we're going to talk about that later.
Okay. That's something we'll have to talk about.
I need to confirm some stuff on it, but we'll get to that.
Right.
All right. So that's later.
Now the second airport is the biggest issue.
Yes, of course. That's always been,
Is it happening or not?
Yeah.
Daryl, we're going to hit Jamie up for some questions, some hard-hitting questions. Jamie, are you ready?
At the end of our episode,
go for it.
Yes, we have like a rapid fire, the Jeju 5, where we ask you 5 questions about Jeju, and we want honest answers.
Honest and quick. We're gonna rapid fire you.
Don't think
Daryl, you want to do number 1?
First one. Where do you go on Jeju Island to get away?
I just go into the forest.
Any forest?
Do you have a specific one? Which one do you like?
No, I go to the the non-popular ones.
You don't want to get away
from healing forests like that.
I love the healing forest. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
Yeah, or I go to the one that's close to where I live, which is
okay.
Just in the neighborhood.
Question number 2 for you. What is your go-to beverage when you go to the marts? Soju, makgeolli, or beer?
Makgeolli.
Hey, I like it.
Wait, Jeju makgeolli or Seoul makgeolli?
It doesn't matter.
She's like, just give me the
new things. I like trying new things, actually.
Okay. That was a dumb question, because you can only get Jeju makgeolli in Jeju.
Well, but you can get like the udo. You can get the different flavors now. The chestnut and
those aren't real makgeolli.
Daryl, you got. Don't get us started. Daryl, hit her with number 3.
Okay, the coast, hala, or autumn?
Autumn.
Nice.
Me too. Me too.
Do you have a favorite?
Not yet. I haven't done too many.
I'm
going to do all of them, by the way.
Do you know, Jamie, we'll just sidetrack a little bit here. Do you know now that they're doing really cool maps that I want to say you can, isn't that cool? They're like, you can
I want to get my hands on them.
Me too. Yeah. I think they're on Naver. So Jamie, you and I, let's talk after the episode and let's see if we can find a link, because I really want one of those.
I have no idea what either of you are talking about.
we'll talk about that. Okay, question number 4. What's something you know about Jeju that you think many others don't know?
What do I know that others don't know
about Jeju?
Oh, that there are. Let's see. What do I know that other people don't know? The places to go to eat.
Okay.
That travelers don't know.
Are you a big fan of eating out?
I'm a big fan of just discovering new places.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are a lot of tea houses here. I don't think people know that. Yeah, I don't think that people know that too much though.
Agreed. And especially they're they're, I don't want to say old fashioned.
Traditional.
Thank you.
Yes,
that's true. That word. Yeah,
there's this house that's 100 years old. It's like so beautiful and it's like not popular.
100 years old. Wow.
Ooh. The building is 100
You're going to have to
old.
share that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The building is 100 years old.
Yeah.
Last question.
Number 5. Last question.
Literally crawl up to the second floor.
If there was one thing,
you have to crawl up to the second floor.
Okay. Well, we have to get the address for that.
She'll still deliver it to you. It's interesting.
This old lady, I imagine that woman's 100 years old too, crawling up to the second floor with tea. You make her do this for you for your own entertainment. Last question.
All right, Daryl, number 5.
If there was one thing you'd change about Jeju, what would it be?
Oh, wow. Stop constructing.
Oh, development.
Yes, Jamie, that is my answer as well.
Yeah. No more dream towers.
Enough is enough.
Yeah.
No more anything. No more
parking
apartments.
is getting scarce in the city.
Yeah. No, it's crazy.
I never leave my house anymore because it's so terrible to go parking and driving and dream tower. A lot of people. It's interesting to see because I've been here for more like a decade. Or more than a decade. And then so there's a difference between people who came here more recently and their attitude towards development, the new projects, and like they're like Dream Town, that's so cool. Wow, we can go get a I don't know what they do there. Buffets?
They do everything, Daryl. They do everything.
And I just kind of like scold at it every time I'm in like
when you see it, you're like, this monstrosity.
I would rather get a plane and go to Busan to see those buildings. I don't want to see them here on the island.
It is going to be interesting to see how they're going to deal with this because it is a problem, the development, and it is on their agenda to figure out how to do this properly.
How
because
to limit
houses are becoming a problem. Quality houses for people to live in too is another big issue that's coming on Jeju. And
and no more theme parks, please.
Yeah. But don't you want to
Lord, Jamie, you and I are like twins. You and I are gonna have exactly. I'm just.
I mean, the nature is so beautiful here. Like
that's
no more theme parks.
That's the point of Jeju. I've lived in a lot of tourist over my years. I've lived in a lot of tourist islands or tourist areas, beach areas. So I've had the unfortunate. I don't know the word, but I've seen areas that were once less popular turn popular and all the damage it's done to the environment and all the things. So I've seen it firsthand and in Hawaii, I've seen it on the beaches in the States and things like that. So even when I moved here a decade ago, I could see it happening and I was like, oh, please Jeju, don't let Jeju fall prey to the same, but it's happening, and
well, we are going to,
I don't know if it's slowing down.
I'm pretty confident that the second airport is going to happen. Right. Like the government's they're going to make it happen one way or another. And it's not only the airport that people don't realize is they're going to need a way to connect the two airports together. Right. And there's going to be a lot of new infrastructure on the island itself. I believe.
I did hear there might be like they might construct like a tram
around the island.
I heard that. Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it might be a good way to go about transportation instead of having more like roads built. But yeah, definitely there will be like high speed roads built between the two airports.
Absolutely.
So Jamie, where can all of our wonderful listeners follow you and like what's your Instagram, Twitter, your show, if you want them to follow you there?
Well, the easiest way to find me is I like to call Jeju Island chic. I don't know. For me, the island is so chic.
Oh, really?
So, there's so many chic cafes and like, I don't miss Seoul at all. I used to be like a city girl and all my friends were like, they went crazy when they didn't believe I would adjust to live life here on the island. But I find it so chic that I don't miss Seoul. So just look for chic Jeju.
And that's where they'll find you.
Is that on Twitter and Insta? Okay.
I'm on Instagram and on YouTube with Chic Jeju. So
Chic Jeju, very nice,
fantastic.
And you can catch her weekdays 10 to midnight on Arirang Radio as the host of Wonders of Jeju, and on KCTV. When is that?
That's 7:30 p.m., 9:30 p.m., and 11:30 p.m. daily.
Jeez. Beautiful. Is that on repeat, Jamie? Are they the same ones? Okay, just checking.
Otherwise, I would not.
I was immediately. I was like, oh my god, that's a lot of work. So but 7:30, 9:30, 11.
Yeah,
perfect.
Jamie,
perfect.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on. We have to have you again in the future.
It was wonderful. I think there's so much more to talk about. Yeah. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed it.